Hi everyone, so welcome back. Today we're not only going to take seed potatoes and plant them in a potato bag, but we are also going to take some seeds that I saved from store-bought produce and we're going to plant those and see if they grow. So that's the plan for today. Let's get started. I've actually grown this before in Iceland. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Do you recognize this seed? This is a mango seed. You can see inside here, there's a crack here, and inside this crack, the actual seed is growing. So we're gonna need to open this up. I've already done one. So I have it here, the inside. Now open this one. Pretty tough. Alright, here it comes. So we don't need this. But I did want to mention something. When you're choosing a mango to take the seed from, you probably want to take one from a quite mature mango. These ones both came from very mature mangoes. I opened them and I noticed that they were open. The seed inside was open. So I thought it was perfect chance to, try this again. Yeah, the first time I did it, it was from a mango that wasn't so ripe, and I actually have to cut into the shell. I have to actually cut into the shell to remove the actual seed, and it was very difficult, and it's kind of hard to do with a knife. So I recommend just getting a mature mango, because then you have the seed already ready. I mean, almost ready. You just have to pull the two sides apart. So again, for the mangoes, we need to fill these up with soil. Now we gotta make a hole. Finally, we put the seed in. I'm not sure if there's a specific way to actually put the seed in. There probably is, but let's just go with this way. Oop. Now I cover it up. I'm gonna actually get some more soil. It's too much. I'm gonna put them also over here with the other plants. Now I'm gonna go get some water. As I mentioned before, we're going to plant potatoes in a potato bag. So, let's get started. A potato bag is pretty cool because, as you can see here, it has a Velcro pouch. So you can actually reach in here when the plant is still growing and pull out the potatoes from the bottom. So it's super cool. Okay. People plant potatoes and all sorts of things though. They don't have to plant them in a potato bag. You can plant them in a pot, you can plant them in a trash bag, you can plant them pretty much in anything. Just as long as it's quite deep, it needs to be deep. But I was super excited about the potato bag. I saw it at the garden store here in Iceland, and I wanted to give it a go. So here we are now. Okay, so the first step with the potato bag is to roll down the edges. So the edges need to be rolled down. It needs to be about 30 centimeters tall. It needs to be full of soil. So now that we have it about 30 centimeters tall, I'd say about 30 centimeters. Now we're gonna put soil inside. And since I now have coconut substrate, I'm going to actually put some of that into the soil just to see how it goes. Apparently coconut substrate, it can be like mixed in with anything pretty much, and it's supposed to help the plants grow quicker, and it's supposed to help them have like a healthier plant life in general, because it like keeps the soil, the water in the soil at like the appropriate amount, so that it's not too wet and not too dry. So it's like apparently it's supposed to be really good. So I'm going to add a bit of that into here. And this is what coconut substrate looks like apparently. Doesn't look any different than regular soil. Let me show you. Pretty much just looks like compost, I'd say. Maybe a little bit red. I don't know. It looks the same. You can see this is red and this is like darker. So those are the coconut substrates here, the red one, and just regular potting soil is this dark one. So I guess it's a bit different, but I mean, I don't know, we'll see. Potatoes actually grow really well in cold temperature, and they like loose soil, but they don't like the soil to be super wet, because then the potatoes will rot. So I mean, it has to be wet enough, but not super wet. I know potatoes grow well here in Iceland, because when I first came to Iceland, I noticed that a lot of people were growing potatoes in their gardens outside, and because of that I thought it was interesting. I mean, that's the reason why I'm growing it now, because I know it grows well here. So I'm super excited to reap the harvest, you know, as they say. So it's starting to look kind of pretty actually, red and dark, and we have some clay balls in here and some tiny rocks. I mean, I really don't know the soil. All I know about potatoes, growing potatoes, is that they're supposed to be in loose soil, and I feel like this is pretty loose. I mean, usually when I see on YouTube and they talk about loose soil, they usually go like this. Ooh, it's loose. It's loose soil. So I'm guessing if it wasn't loose, it would be like a brick almost, like of clay. It would be so tight together, but it doesn't really do that. It falls apart super easily. So I think this is appropriate. Okay, so that's step one. Okay, so seed potatoes are basically just like little potatoes, or I mean even the bigger ones too, but what's most important is that they've already started to root a little bit. They have like what they're called here are eyes, so they have eyes with like little sprouts coming out of them. So that's a seed potato. So what I'm gonna do with this seed potato, the instructions say to only put 3 or 4 potatoes in a bag, but I think they're talking about the bigger ones, so I'm going to put 5. So I'm just gonna make 5 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going to put the potatoes inside. 1 in the center. Oh yeah, and the eyes need to be up. So eyes up. This one here has a lot of eyes. Eyes up. So now we have the 5 potatoes, and they're all set here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover them up with soil. So we're just gonna cover them now. Hopefully we're gonna see some sprouts here in about, I don't know, they said 12 to 15 days, so in that time that'll be super cool to see that. But now we're gonna water the potatoes. Here's a potato sack I did with the cocoa peat, or whatever you want to call it, coconut substrate. It's redder. And here's a potato sack bag that I did a few days back, and it's just with regular potting soil. And it'd be cool to actually see which one grows faster because supposedly the coconut substrate is supposed to help them grow quicker and healthier. So we're gonna see actually now that I have, you know, 2. This one was done a few days back though, so it does have a head start, but we'll have to see. I am planning on doing a 3rd bag, but the 3rd bag would be for sweet potatoes. Not to count my chickens before they hatch or anything, but I was watching a YouTube video, Am I Gardener? He's super popular on YouTube, you probably have heard of him. And he was, you know, pulling out his potatoes, see how many they grew. I think maybe it was a few years back. But apparently, like, a good harvest is, you know, it could be anywhere from, you know, 6 plants can give you, like, 70 potatoes or something. It's quite a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing how many these can give me. He did have, on that specific video, he did have a species of potato that, like, only gave him 20 or something. Something quite small, and they're all tiny, and so I don't know what it's going to be like this time, but, you know, we'll see.